Todd, on Chelsea, is it fun owning a football club like Chelsea, or is it at times a bit of a headache?
I think it's a combination of both, right? But it's like owning anything. Almost anything I own is both fun and a headache. So I think this one's a little more in my face every day. But the fact is, the good news is the bad news, right? If people didn't care, right, then it would stink. So it's a testament to how much the sport matters. And if you look at the Premier League right now, there's so much excitement in it, especially what's going on in the last weekend, right? Like, there's 7 teams that could be making Champions League. There's going to be the winner of Tottenham and Man United will go to Champions League. We'll have a team. We'll probably have 9 teams in European competition out of the Premier League alone, which to me is just a testament to the quality of the product. And to be part of that is a privilege.
Is that what surprised you the most, since being one of the owners of Chelsea, and how the level at which?
I think the level of competition is ferocious, and the margins of errors are so small. And I don't think I fully appreciated the level, the margin of error is so small. I think the sport's gotten more and more competitive in the Premier League, and that makes winning all that much sweeter. And I guess I really didn't know how much I would love a goal. A goal feels so good, and giving up a goal is just the worst, right? It's like, in basketball, you can be down 20 points in the fourth quarter and feel like you're still in it. In baseball, you hit a home run and it's fantastic, but a goal, there's nothing like a goal.
Do you want to increase your role at Chelsea?
My role?
Mm-hmm.
I think chairman's a pretty good one. I can't play. Or maybe I'll go out as striker, see how the fans think about that.
But there's no there's rumors about you taking a back seat or anything like that. That's nothing that you're.
No, we have a good partnership. Of course, like every partnership, you have times that you got to work through and times that are better. And I think we hit the ground running in such a intense timeline. That it was just a complex moment. But I think we're through it, and we're excited about what the future holds. We think we've got one of the best young teams. We were early on doing kind of 7, 8, 9-year contracts, because we really wanted to make sure that we could keep the team together for a long time. If you read a book called Captain's Class, right, it talks about the 15 best teams in the world. And I think one of the things that you see, is in order to have a really good team, you ultimately need stability, within the team, within the environment, and the only way that comes is through time. But I think we've set it up to be able to benefit from that.
Todd, I think we're going through the numbers. There are now nearly enough American-owned teams in the Premier League to get together to actually enforce, rule changes like matches abroad, salary caps. Do you see the American teams voting together to bring around some changes?
I think we believe very much in the culture, and obviously we've been educated, from the past. So we're very focused on making sure we maintain the culture.
What happens if the team doesn't make the Champions League again? Is there a risk that you could lose some big players?
We don't have any clauses like that in any of our contracts.
In general, what's the transfer window looking like? I know you can't give out too many secrets because there's a lot of people in the room, but are you excited?
I think, obviously we're going to the Club World Cup. So right now we're laser focused on the Club World Cup. We have some players that are joining us for the Club World Cup that weren't on the team. So, Andre Santos is coming from Strasbourg. We're really excited about him and what we think he can add to the squad. The challenge that we really have is how many matches these guys are playing. The calendar is really tight, and they put in so much effort and energy. And the injuries are continuing to go up and up and up, so I think, we're going to have to revisit, what's the calendar look like, and how much football, can they actually play? Obviously, they're built to play football. They love playing football. So we're trying to find the balance as to, what's the right amount of football.
Yeah, what's your ideal calendar? What does that look like?
That's not my job.
How much, we're getting laughs because everybody wants to know. That's what everybody wants to know. Will you spend big again in the transfer window?
Listen, I think we've done most of our investing. And I think we're not looking at it as a spend. We look at it as an investment, and we're trying to build the best portfolio of players that can perform at the highest level for the longest periods of time. So I think there's going to be a lot of investment in this window. Just what I'm hearing and what we're feeling, and there's going to be a lot of well-heeled clubs that are going to be looking to add to their teams, and I think that's only good for the Premier League.
So a more targeted approach. You have a lot of Chelsea fans actually out there.
Yes. I think we know what we need to do. We know the places that we need to invest. So that's going to be our focus.